obviously with the new album. Can you talk a little bit about the artwork and where you got the inspiration for that?
Yeah, we sort of, when we came up with the album title, Don't Panic, we sort of wanted to go with a theme that was like, 2012 is supposed to be the end of the world and all that. So we were sort of like making a joke out of that and sort of running with that metaphor. And so we found this artist. He had done some stuff for us in the past, like graphic work. And he actually works for a cartoon company in Canada. And that he's done amazing work for us in the past, so we hit him up and asked him to drop some samples and stuff like that, and it was just so right on the money from the second we saw it that it was like, okay, done. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of came up with the themes and the ideas.
So the title, that was my next question, is that just about the end of the world thing?
No, the title, although it is a reference to the book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is where it's from, it kind of, in our sort of record bubble, it more pertains to the fact that we were in sort of a precarious way when we were making that album. We were unsigned and we weren't really sure where we were going to go from there and things like that. So it was more of a sentiment of the album and a message to us to sort of stay calm and push through it.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Was it kind of like a roller coaster ride with leaving the label and then coming back?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. We left Hopeless originally with, there was really no bad blood. It was just a new opportunity for us when Interscope came to us. And, it kind of got worked out so that everybody, was happy when we went. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out from there. Interscope just didn't really handle the band the right way. And so when we left, when we parted ways with them, we had the option to do anything, but going back to Hopeless was kind of a decision that we made just because we felt like that was the best family. That's kind of where we belong, I think.
Mm-hmm. What was your vision with the record?
To really just write something that was fiery and fueled by everything that had just happened to us, and really just to give something tried and true back to our fans.
Mm-hmm. You worked with a lot of different people on the record, Cassidy and Anthony. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to do that?
It was really more just we wanted to have some friends involved. There was nothing really overly thought out about it. It was these are some really great friends of ours. It would be awesome to feature them on the album. Mm-hmm. So, once the whole thing was done, we just kind of sent the songs to people, and if they were into it, we had them on.
You were touring a lot during the writing process, right? Mm-hmm. How did you find time to record it in between, and what were your influences on the road?
Well, the writing process, the writing process and the recording process were kind of two different things. I wrote a lot on the road, kind of going back and forth between me and the producer, who we knew was going to record the record. But then, once we were done tour, we took a few months off to actually record the record. I think we wrote the second half of the record in the studio, mm-hmm. and kind of recorded it all in those 2 months.
I'm curious about Somewhere in Neverland, which is more of a love song, right?
Kind of, yeah.
And then Stay Awake, which I've also heard is about Peter Pan. Is there any background to that?
Yeah. I've always just had like a sort of like a drawing to the ideas and like the concepts of Peter Pan, and like mostly to do with like the, physically growing up and sort of like staying young, mm-hmm. In your heart and soul kind of thing. But so that's always sort of spoken to me, and it's one of those things where it's like time moves very quickly, and you're limited to how much time you have around. So I think it's really a metaphor for staying young on the inside and just enjoying life, and both of those songs kind of touch on two aspects of that.
Mm-hmm. It seems like you have I don't know, in the past it seems like All Time Low always has problems with leaking. So what was your choice to leak it yourself?
I think these days everybody has problems with leaking, to be honest. That said, though, I don't know if it would have leaked, to be honest. I mean, we leaked it ourselves a week before, and there was still no inclination that it was going to get out. I mean, we just did it then because we knew some of the pre-orders were shipping, mm-hmm. so we knew that eventually someone would get it a few days early and put it online. So we just kind of wanted to have control over it, and we thought that we could do it in a unique way with the animated stream and all that. Just kind of like, let's not just let it be this kid putting it up on a torrent site. Like, mm-hmm. let's direct them to, something that is actually kind of cool and, like, different.
Mm-hmm. What were you thinking when you were writing for Baltimore?
This song's kind of just about hometown, like a hometown love, and beyond just, you know, a person. It's also sort of about the town itself. It's like falling in love in your city. You know what I mean? Like, we have such an affinity to where we're from, and you know, I sort of recently have kind of fallen back in love with the city of Baltimore. So it's just kind of a song about that.
The Triptacular you did with the 3 cities. Where did you get that idea, and why did you decide to do it?
We did it actually before on the on our record, Nothing Personal. But then that time we did it 3 shows in 24 hours. It was East Coast, middle of America, and the West Coast. And we kind of just thought that it would be a great way to release the record again, but one up ourselves. You know, a big aspect of this band now is our international touring base. You know, we can go all over the world and have amazing shows. So we sort of wanted to get, you know, other countries in on the action.
Do you think that working with the other people influenced how your album sounded?
Who?
Well, specifically, I thought that the song with Anthony Ranieri, the drums sound really like Bayside.
Oh, word. No, the people on the album, none of them contributed to the writing.
Okay.
They just kind of, I had them sing parts that were already written. I thought that, I think on the flip side of that, though, after the song was written, it did definitely make me like think, when I was trying to think of who would be good on a song like that, I was like, okay, and that really lends itself to what he does as well. So I see where that would like kind of come into play for sure.
What's the message that you want your fans to take when they're listening to the album?
I think the biggest message on there is to just be confident in who you are and push through the BS. You know, I think we had a great learning experience on this record of just, you know, learning to be confident in ourselves and learning to do what we love and not really let, you know, outside influences affect the way that we write and are. So I think it kind of pertains to people in general as well.